गुड इवनिंग सर।
क्या गुड इवनिंग मजीद। कैसे हो आप?
बस बढ़िया सर, आप बताइए। आप कैसे हैं? हाउ आर यू?
बढ़िया। एक्चुअली आई मैं सोचा आई वाज लेट।
I already joined at 6 actually.
या आई हैड अ मीटिंग, सो आई वाज रशिंग दैट इट मे गेट टुडे वाज अ वेरी बिजी डे।
I can totally understand. You have dressed like that.
Good evening, sir.
I'm doing well. So what shall we do? Wait for some more time or we'll wait for another 5 minutes. Majid,
Sure, sir.
Sure.
Vaibhav?
Okay, sir.
Oh, just text in the group to join them immediately. You text in the group to join them immediately.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, shall we start? Akanksha? Akanksha, are you there? Are you traveling? If there are two, three members also, I'll go ahead. Hello? Sir, where this guy went? Yeah, must see.
Yes, sir.
मस्जिद किधर है? The मस्जिद joins, I'll start. No, you four are enough for me. Let them join later. Akanksha is there, no? She's on mute. Yeah, Wes, can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. See,
Yes, sir.
this is going, yeah, we'll start, I mean, others join or they may not join. But for me, those who are in, join are important. If two, three members join also, I'm going to continue. Okay. And where is this Akanksha? She left again.
She is not able to hear you.
Akanksha, are you there? Network
You're not
issue?
in.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You reached your home or room or still in driving?
Yes, sir. Just only I reached.
Okay, fresh up and have some glass of water.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because today we'll be discussing some important thing on design and development, uh, which as a part of it could be IMDR or it could be UMDR, it could be ISO 13485. This section is important in every regulatory standards, okay, as well as the ISO 13485. And even if you take MTSAP also, it becomes still more critical. Okay. Because why design and development has so much of weightage? Can somebody tell me why people give so much of importance to design and development?
It's the foundation of any product development.
Yes, very true. It's a foundation of any product development, what we call NPD, new product development. Okay. And secondly, why it is very important is like two things. As we navigate to high-end technology devices, okay. Suppose if you are doing class 1, class 2, I mean, you don't need so much of uh, technology or a high-end technology. But if you move to high-risk class of devices, okay, the technology, availability of the technology as per the Indian context is very, very, very scarce. Okay, if you look at any medical equipment or anything, software related medical equipment, okay, we are at the very basics are at the infancy stage of doing any innovation and research. And guys, I am telling you, where India is lacking is on innovation and research in all domains, not only in medical devices, okay, whether it could be anything that is regarding to AI/ML, or it could be regarding to software medical devices, or it could be any domain that is linked to it, okay, any commodities that are coming out. Because we have uh, a problem of, okay, we basically have something like very sharp, intelligent brains. Okay, we are ready to work on the proof of concept. Okay? We can work on the proof of concepts, but not very much on the
Innovation.
innovation. And the second important thing is like, you know, research innovation is very, very costly, complex, and there is substantial evidence that we need to prove, okay, through clinical investigations or clinical trials, okay, that it is meeting the intended use both on safety and performance. Okay, you need multi-register trials, clinical trials, and you imagine the amount of money spent on innovation and research. Okay, it's not like Me Too products or similar devices, predicatives, where we slightly change or modify the design of the product. We are entirely talking about a new device for a new intended use. No, that is very, very costly. Okay, and I have to tell you, okay, very seriously, like once you develop the product and after spending so much money on clinical evaluation, you don't know your product will be a failure or success. Okay, either you need to go back to the drawing board and say that again you need to make design changes, come back, okay, and start again the verification and validation, go for again clinical validations. No, this is something like a cycle that revolves on until you get, okay, the right intended product. But this is only possible with the organizations, okay, who can spend at least 10-20% of their income resources, okay, on the R&D. but many companies don't do it. And of course, I'll tell you the lifetime of a device for a complete development to enter into commercialization on market, okay, it takes anywhere between 7 to 10 years. And still we are not sure once we go into the post-marketing surveillance, okay, we are not pretty sure that whether the product will survive or will come back with some more risk factors. Again, we need to redesign. So there are a lot of complexities revolving around design and development. That's why you see many Indian manufacturers don't poke their nose or put their finger in research development. Okay. And they're happy to, work on the predicatives. And some industries are good in, manufacturers are good in, okay, changing the designs of the predicatives or working on improving the already existing predicatives. Okay. Uh, for a better performance, of course, on a good safety. But as I say, as I say this, I also want to update you on the recent developments that are happening. Okay. Earlier, we used to think like product development or R&D is such a huge cost, requires a lot of time. Okay. But now you look into the era of R&D, okay, design and development. You have a lot of things, accessories that are helping you in AI ML, okay, that are shortening your design and development protocols, okay, just to 3 to 4 years. You can you can design and make a prototype, okay, verify and validate, of course, not the clinical, verify and validate within 2 3 years because of the AML in different prospects, which I'll tell you, I'll share you one document on how AML is helping the researchers, okay, in fast or something like a very speedy development of the devices. Of course, the clinical will take time. You know, some of you guys know, this art of rapid prototyping, 3D printing, okay, digital twins. How many of you know about digital twins? Through AML, you can create a digital twin similar to your product. Okay, and you keep on testing them, your digital twins. Okay, it performs similar to your device, but it will be a twin. Twin means almost share the same characteristics. And your verification can be done on the digital twins. You can keep modifying verification, validation can be done, and you can take them to high accelerated stress conditions, temperatures, humidity, where you do the shelf life studies. Okay, that on fatigue or something where it has to run for 10 million cycles. You can simulate them, all any metals or something like that. We can simulate them in just 24 hours or anything like corrosion resistant, fatigue. All this can be done, okay, in a very quick time, thanks to AIML for creating this stuff on 3D printing, rapid prototyping, digital twins, fast, I mean, very fast validation and verification of the products. Okay, any design changes if you require, that can be done very easily. Okay, not starting from the scratch or going back to zero. Okay, you can, from the same digital twins, you can change the data, not manipulate, change the data, change the parameters of it, and you retest it again. You are not losing any time or any money. So that is the beauty of the new era or the current arena where research and development is happening. I'll share you one document on this tonight or tomorrow. How I mean, AI and ML application that could help in research and development or in design and development. It looks great and wonderful. Okay, I already shared with you one document on how you can, apply AML to EUMDR documents. Okay, that I have shared basically on augmentation, or what we call hybrid process. Hybrid means where you'll have the inclusion of artificial intelligence plus human intelligence. Okay, and when I have worked on that, I have worked on a particular UMDR document involving AI and HI, human intelligence, as per the Artificial Intelligence Act. We call AIA, Artificial Intelligence Act, that came in Europe. Because we need to have compliance when you are working with the artificial intelligence, when we submit to the notified bodies. It's not that we do everything as we like. We should follow the regulation, that is Artificial Intelligence Act that came in Europe in 2025 only. Based on that compliance, okay, when you documented the EUMDR file with the help of artificial intelligence in combination with human intelligence, okay, the total time, it has drastically reduced to 50%. Okay, what can be done in 6 months has come down to 3 months. Okay, the point here is that it's not that AI will do everything. AI has a separate role to do things, like it can do a lot of work on or it can generate a lot of conclusions, okay, on high data platforms, okay, like the clinical evaluation report. Suppose you have something like 300 in the literature survey, you have 300 similar reports or similar citations. Okay, within 1 hour, it can differentiate like what are the citations that are really useful for us, okay, as per EUMDR, or also if you take the 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 important document that is required for the clinical evaluation, okay, you know it, MedDev 2.7.1 version 4. Okay, once you feed the MedDev 2.7.1 version 4 into the AI, and also Annexure 8 of EUMDR, which talks about clinical evaluation. Okay, then you provide all your literature, full length literature, citations, not abstracts and presentation. Okay, full length citation. Within an hour, it will tell you what are the relevant articles to your device. Okay, and what are irrelevant, and also it gives you a justification why these are relevant and why these are relevant. See, which basically for humans, it takes almost 1 month time collecting all the data, literature, and separating which is excluded, included, why it has to be included, the justification. My point here, trying to make you understand is that, okay, it's not just, AI will be doing all the processing work, all the hard work, tedious work. But end of the day, it are the humans which or who has to take the final call or the decision making. So when you augment both of them, okay, the artificial intelligence and human intelligence, I think you will be getting the best of the documentation, best of the product. Okay, wherein human intelligence will take the decision, artificial intelligence will do bulk of the work. Okay, and end of the day, you will be having the best document or the best product. And secondly, the crux of Industry 5, I was telling you many a times, you need, I mean, you guys need to spend some time on this. Okay, it's also called hybrid model of working. It's called augmented model of working. But what makes is, okay, you can bring in, okay, the human intelligence, artificial intelligence, and center it around patients. For us, okay, who are the important, I mean, in doing all this documentation or development of the products is the center. So it will become patient-centric when AI and human intelligence complement each other and become patient-centric. Okay, and for better devices, better performance, and better safety. Okay, I'm pretty sure AI alone can't take decision. Human intelligence has to take decision. But when they augment, combine each other, I'm pretty sure the productivity of the time and the speed at which it will happen is going to be stunning. Okay, I just told the example of a documentation that will take 6 months to do for EUMDR compliance can be reduced to 3 months, such a significant change in the timeline, I mean, in the time, wherein next 3 months you can spend on other, I mean, working on other things. Okay, this is the example. Why I quoted this example is I already worked on this. Okay, I mean, 1 month, 2 months back, and I found that very useful. But I mean, for you as learners, I mean, don't switch on to AI or HI immediately. Use your human intelligence. First, try to understand what is this standards or what are the important sections, what are the main contents. Okay, after understanding, having a very theoretical and practical understanding, then you need to add AI. Okay, if you add AI or jump into AI suddenly, no, it causes, I mean, like a big disaster. Will be in a lot of confusion. So I request you like focus on that. And as I mentioned, because of the AI and HI augmented intelligence, what's happening is even the design development process is picking up speed. It's not like the traditional methods of doing, okay, where you can cut down the development of device, okay, from R&D to commercialization by almost 50%, like it can come from 10 years to 4 years or 5 years. So when you have this stuff coming up, the new development or new device development becomes much faster. And the important point, what we need to understand in design and development 7.3 is the product creation life cycle. You need to have total life cycle of the device. Okay, product life cycle of the device, starting from your raw material to the clinicals, okay, from the customer feedbacks or from your PMS and back to design. Okay, suppose if your design has gone wrong somewhere in PMS, it will be reflected in the form of complaints, CAPA, okay, or based on the customer feedback. So based on the complaints what you are receiving, if there are severe complaints that are affecting both performance and safety, again you can come back, okay, to the drawing board and do the redesign. Okay, this is like a product's creation life cycle running. Okay, and the most important before we go ahead with 7.3 is Okay, it is a comprehensive, what I am providing is a comprehensive guide to ensure, okay, the R&D meets of the design and development. Okay. Requirement controlling the design. Okay. Requirements for controlling the design and development of medical devices, 1 point. Okay. Ensuring the resulting product meets user needs. Remember this, guys. First is the user needs, which is very, very important. Then the regulatory demands, then the safety requirements. So there are a lot of things which you need to comply. It's not only just, okay, that you have created a product or innovated a product. It has to meticulously, very craftily meet the user needs, and your regulatory standards is one most important when you plan to market to a lot of other countries, and also the safety requirements. Suppose if I ask you one question like whether safety is important or performance is important for a particular patient, what you will do? What is
Safety.
Safety.
is it performance or safety?
Safety.
Safety.
Yeah, all of you are right. Safety matters most. If your device doesn't perform, also still it's fine. Okay, but it should not cause any harm or risk to the patient. And the patient, has to lean back to his morbidities and to mortality. Okay. Okay, basically, the standard of protocol or the rule what we will learn, it should have performance, it should perform well with less, risks or having enough safety. But sometimes in product development, it becomes reverse, like when you're trying to increase the, performance of the device, there will be parallel increase in the risk of the devices. I can quote NT number of devices, how this happens. Okay, one way you want to increase the performance of the device, because the performance of the device or the parameters that are linked to the performance of the device or the materials that are linked in the performance of the device, okay, are also linked with the safety of the device. So if you try to accelerate or switch on increasing the performance, and parallelly you will see an proportionate increase in the risk. So the most important thing in R&D or in design and development is how you are going to balance the both. Okay, balance the both is not that you have equal performance and safety. Your performance, see, whenever you write a risk management report or any report on CER, what we mention, what is the end line we mention? Akanksha, can you tell what is the last line you mention after doing all the documentation on risk management or clinical evaluation report? There will be one simple statement which speaks, okay, 100 words. That one statement speaks 100 words. That is the benefits outweigh the risks. Okay. There are risks already. Risks will be there, but what we are trying to say is the benefits outweigh the risks. What you are telling indirectly is the performance outweighs the risks or the safety issues. You have a device which is performing better. Of course, it has some risks, but performance or the benefits outweigh the risk, and hence the device XYZ can be used safely for the intended purpose, okay, in compliance with EU MDR 2017 and ISO 13485, so on and so forth. What we call it as conformity assessment statement. Okay, which is very important. Conformity assessment is very, very important in of late it has become important in EU MDR because of the new regulation. But this is a very gold standard for FDA. Okay, you need to mention, provide the conformity assessment. Okay. See, I'm going in depth, just I can read this and complete in an hour, but I want you to understand what are the intensities, how you basically work on the, look at the R&D and logically arrive at some of the decision making. Okay. So the first one, as I told, I thought Arulmati will join. She is the one who told, like, I have a problem in remembering the subclause. Okay. As I said, every subclause in a clause has a planning. You take from 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and the subclause in that. Okay, 7.3 is on design development, and the subclause of 7.3.1 is design and development planning. So what you do in design and development planning, people have, companies have different ways, okay, in design and development planning, what we call is, I think I told, did I discuss about project charter? Okay, project charter is the one, basically it's a high-end document which we generally give to the management that this is a product which we want to develop. So immediately there are two things the management looks into. One is the techno feasibility. Okay, suppose I want to develop this new product. Okay, he will ask whether there is technical feasibility for us to manufacture the device, or sorry, develop the device with the available equipment, with the available resources. Okay, if the answer is yes, okay, it's 50% done. If the answer is no, then it's like, what other equipment we need? Then there will be a lot of calculations that go. So what I'm trying to say is, suppose if you are manufacturing something on neurological devices or on cardiac devices, on orthopedic devices. So for you to develop a device that is already there in your domain, in the organization or in the vertical in your organization, it becomes easy for you because the technology is already available. There is technological feasibility is there. There may be one or two other equipment which we need to purchase, not everything which runs in crores. Okay, that is what we basically Indians do. Like we will be sitting on the same vertical or on the same domain where we have worked earlier because we have a very good understanding on the products. See, I worked on cardiology for a long time, for almost 10 years. Cardiology products, okay, mainly the interventional cardiology products. I understand it better. So later on, whatever development we have done on new products are all called cardiology products because it made us to understand what is this application of them, and we already have devices, equipment, technology for that, and maybe we need to buy another 1-2 equipment. Okay. And the second, this is the first thing. And the second thing, what we look in during the planning stage is the commercial feasibility. Okay. What we call both together, techno-commercial feasibility. Technically, if you are okay enough, maybe it may cost another 1 crore for the equipment, additional equipment to procure. Okay, immediately, I mean, any management or any organization has to do business. End of the day, it's business. They won't do charity work. Okay. Then they look at the commercial feasibility. So this is, they do all the costing of the device. I mean, making the device, the human resources, infrastructure, machine depletion time. Because every year machine depletion, so not depletion, sorry, machine depreciation time. Every year it will come down to 10%. Depreciation is the capacity to do the work of the machine. So after 10 years, your machine will be of no use. Okay, machine depreciation every year it comes down by 10%. So they need to look at the cost of the material, human resource, electricity, power, uh, machine depreciation, packing, labeling. They come at a conclusion of what will be the value of the product in terms of cost. Okay, first they look at the cost, means the material cost, device cost, I mean manpower cost, that we call them as the costing of the device. That is not the real price. Okay, suppose if you take a coronary stent, because I worked on coronary stent, you will be shocked to make one coronary stent. So because we'll be producing thousands and thousands. If you take 1 unit of coronary stent, one stent, okay, the total costing of the stent from raw material to sterilization, all that stuff will not take more than 2000 rupees. And you know the real price of the stent in the market? Okay, it will be something of late they have, because of the Price Control Act, discuss cap Price Control Act, they are selling at 20,000. But still there is a lot of margin. Think of the margin. Still, if you make it 5,000, you will be getting 20,000. Okay, earlier it was something like 3 lakhs. I mean, that 10 years back. So that is how we worked at the commercial feasibility, whether we are getting, I mean, the money we have invested, when will be the break even? Break even is something like the money you invested will come back. After the break even, you will move into profits. Okay, it takes 1-2 years for the break even to happen. So later you will be moving into the profit. So these are the two things which a top level management looks, because I started my career in R&D. I know how to write the project charters and techno feasibility and all this. Then the next step is, what are your regulatory approvals required? Whether you want it in only India, MDR, you want to go for CE, also FDA, give me the budget. Okay. And what are the external tests you want to do? If are not available, should we source the equipment or get it tested outside initially? All is costing, like suppose, I mean, it requires manpower, specialized skilled manpower to do that. Okay, give me 1 year costing of the manpower. Okay, there'll be a lot of what we call tangible and intangible. Okay, recurring and non-recurring. Recurring is everyday expenditure like the salaries, raw material, all this. Non-recurring are the machine and infrastructure. So they calculate everything and will arrive at a conclusion. And what we call this as design and development planning. Okay, we plan it. Have we got everything? we got the team, which in the team, what are the responsibilities of the team? In planning only we need to do. What are the regulatory approvals? Do you have all inputs? The machinery is available. You have the specifications of the products, device. Okay. Have you done, have you looked at the machinery? Okay. What are the timelines for this? So everything will be structured before you enter into the, okay, real work. This is very critical, what we call it as the planning. Okay.
So,
Yeah.
but in real scenario, this thing is not feasible to do, right? In the design and development planning, because we are generally not aware that how much time will it take, or I'm currently working on this thing and facing issue in the DDP. Like we don't know the responsibilities of the people. Like currently, I'm working for a company which is developing a sister company, and I'm developing the products for the sister company. So even the manufacturing license is not there with them right now. So doing this DDP becomes very difficult.
No, Aziz, the point here is you are absolutely right. Say, in good old days when I am in R&D, I never had a design and development plan. Okay, we go very arbitrarily. I do something and I ask my subordinates to do something. It's not that written. Even that time we don't have lab notebooks. Okay, lab notebooks are so essential for R&D people that they need to record everything daily, and it has to be signed by the head of the R&D or chief scientist every day, what you have done, what are the results. Okay. Why we do enter everything in lab notebooks is because if something goes wrong, it will not, what it makes is that the next person who comes in will not do the same experiment. Okay, we'll have different DOEs working on different variables. So if this DOE has failed, I have to record it that it failed, because it won't allow, or it will help the next person to see that okay, this DOI is done, it failed, so I should not again redo this. It will be waste of time, money and expenditure. Okay, that is why lab notebooks are maintained. But as Masjid said, in the earlier days or in 10 years back, nobody has this except for people who studied, okay, project management and all that stuff. Of course, I have done a diploma in project management, but when we practically come to the R&D shop floor, okay, this development, the design and development planning, all that looks very shabby. We are not sure like what to do, but we'll keep doing something because we are employees of R&D. We need to show or do something, at least try to improvise something on the already marketed products, add some coating, try to introduce some new thing. But of late, Masjid, I am telling, this has become mandatory. You need to have a perfect design and development planning. Okay, it may not be necessary for you. You may be having everything in your mind. Okay, scrolling every time. Okay, this happens, this. But as per ISO 13485, you know pretty well. Okay, it has to be documented before implementation. You need to document your design and development plan. Okay, you will have a lot of things. So I have these inputs. This is my team. These are some of my timelines. These are projected timelines, not actual timelines. Okay, in R&D, actual timelines, projected timelines will never be the same. Okay, it may extend by year to year, or at some time we may abandon that. Okay, so you need to write in order all when I am doing the verification. Okay, first, what are my inputs? What are my outputs? Verification, validation. when I can do design transfers, or in between you'll have a lot of design reviews, or in case of there are design changes. So all of that you need to write out, document it in a perfect manner in a file saying that this is my design and development planning, including the responsibilities, timelines, okay, objectives, responsibilities. Okay.
Understood, sir.
What?
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, design and development planning document is a living document or it will be same?
No, it will be a living document as you have design reviews. See, when you take design inputs, okay, and as you complete verification and validation, and there could be some design changes, what happens is that when you do the verification and validation, sometimes they may not match verification validation. The intended use may be bit constrained. It shows carrying more risk. Okay. The intended use may not be as close as what we think. Then again, we need to go back to the design planning. Okay. Design and development planning and see like what went wrong in the planning. Okay. It's not a document which is prepared one time. It has, I mean, it keeps changing as you keep moving on. Basically, it happens during the design reviews. Because I am telling you, remember this, after every phase of design development, there will be 2-3 design reviews. Suppose I have done the planning. Okay. And planning is not done by just design and development person. There will be production people, regulatory guys sitting. Actually, it is also advised to have a clinical person or a doctor sitting. Okay. The production will be there. Of course, in some, the top management will involve during the initial meetings of design and development. Okay. So all of them should agree on what all the points that we have, I mean, documented in design and development planning. If there is any ambiguity, if there is any confusion, that has to be discussed and you need to reach a consensus. Okay, mutual agreement, consensus that this can be changed, this can be changed. Of, I mean, providing proper justification and rational. It's not that I have enmity with the QARA guy and I am head of why this guy is asking me to change. Such kind of things create more problems than proceeding with the work. So you need to have a more better understanding, okay, mutually coordinate, and always strive for the best product. If it means like, okay, stepping down or compromising on some of the things, but with due understanding and justification. It's not somebody out of high-headedness acts say that remove this country from regulatory, remove that country from regulatory. There should be an strategy why we are taking up these 3 countries. Okay, India is must. I'm also planning for Europe. At the same time, I'm planning for US. When I do for US, it becomes easy for me to go to Canada. Okay, when I do for UMBR, it becomes very easy to navigate into SFD, Saudi and UAE because the documentation is same. Okay, so that is how we view justification. Like on, I'm talking on regulation, but on the quality, design, transfer, production has to come out with a lot of points, and everything has to be documented. As I mentioned, what are the stages of design? Input, output, verification, validation, reviews. Okay, design transfers. Yeah, mainly the one important is the design transfer, design changes. but there will be a lot of reviews in every phase. Okay, after planning, we get design inputs. Design inputs, everybody has to sit together and see what are the design inputs from raw material. Is this a particular raw material? Okay. What is the processes? Production has to give. Testing. Who are our suppliers? Should we do audits? Okay, how to do the prototypes? Should we adopt 3D printing or rapid prototype? First get something from our source, then we start doing ourselves. How many should be done? Okay, when we should start doing verification. Okay, or verification is very simple. You inputs versus outputs. Then whenever verification is not possible, you need to do validation. The validation takes time and it's cumbersome. It needs lot of products or prototypes. So when should we plan it? Okay, all this has to be finalized on design stage and review and transfer. Once the design planning is done, then we need the team will review. Okay. The plan must specify the required design reviews, verification, validation activities for design transfer. Okay, the DDP milestones. Okay, design and development milestones, specific dates or conditions for design reviews meetings, all that. Of course, I do pretty well now because I was there in this for a long time. As a chief time, I mean, right after my completion of my PhD and PD from Germany, I straight away entered into medical devices. You'll be shocked to know that I studied pharmacology, but I entered in medical devices. I should have gone to pharma. Entered medical devices as a chief scientist and working on cardiovascular devices that are life-saving devices. Okay, and class 3 high-risk devices. That's, I mean, I had seen hell during this, but it's okay. Okay, the milestones, though we may say March, we need to complete April, that's a bit flexible, but I mean, the important thing is we should try to meet the timelines projected. Okay. I mean, as close as possible. It's not that it is delayed for years. Okay. Okay, we also give responsibilities and authorities, R&D department who has to be consulted. Okay, we'll have it, what you call the trend chart. A lot of charts will be there, the matrices, timeline. People keep working. We have a lot of softwares to do that. Okay, and plan updates. The plan must keep current, revised, approved as the design evolves. This is what Akanksha I was telling you. As the plan keeps evolving, okay, as we keep moving ahead, there will be a lot of updates that happens. Sometimes you need to change the timeline. The planning has to be very much dynamic and flexible. Okay, it's a living document. It's not that. Okay, it's once you do the design and development planning, it's not static. There will be a lot of changes that happen, and it should follow. Okay, 4.4.2 or 4.4.5, 4.4.2, mainly on the control of documents and reports. Okay, whatever changes happens, that has to be recorded. Okay, then comes the design input. This is very, very crucial. How you collect design inputs? Or can somebody tell me what are the general design inputs?
Drawings.
Yeah, great. I really appreciate you. First, you need the drawings. Without drawing, we can't do anything.
Design parameter.
Similar
Yeah.
products as well from the market.
Yeah, that is fine if you are doing a similar product. If you are doing a new product, then you need to have a new drawing and try to simulate. Off late, I mean, the good thing is in the drawings only, Okay, after you do some CAD work, there are a lot of tools for designing. You can do a lot of simulations. Okay, I have done it for Karna restaurants. Inside the lab, instead of trying to have the whole product prototype come out, there are software that simulate, okay, similar conditions that are there in the body. Okay, suppose I have implanted a stent. The stent should have a lot of, it should not break. Okay, what is the fatigue it can tolerate for 10,000 cycles? The total once you insert a stent, it has to be there lifelong. Okay, lifelong, how many times the veins or arteries will pulsate? Can he tolerate the fatigue? Okay, and there are a lot of other parameters that can be simulated, okay, during the softwares. Okay, yeah, there will be a lot, but as you said, the drawings, other things will be the input, the raw material used, the equipment that has to be used. Okay, and most importantly, what is the intended use of it? Okay, that is the main input, and parallelly we'll go with that. Okay, the intended use, you need to very clearly define what is the intended use of your device. Okay, based on the intended use only, further you will do all the designs, documentation, material. Of course, you will carry a lot of, you have done a lot of spade work before you come to the inputs. It's not that straight away you jump from planning, design planning to input straight away. You should have a lot of understanding on that. You should have done a lot of work regarding the device, what are the inputs required and how meticulously it has to be planned. And you will consult some experts who are good in this field on the designs and also on the simulations. Will take help of clinicians. Okay, what is the unmet need for certain diseases? Okay, how can it be implemented? So there will be a lot of expert opinions that come in. Okay, then we'll gather them. Okay, basically, as I said, functional performance safety. Okay, the defined requirements for the device example, you can take what is the safety issues with this? What are the performance issues? Can we separate them or they go hand in hand, side by side? Okay, if I try to increase the performance, the safety will also have an issue. Okay, we need to correlate all this. Of course, what we call it as in design input specification DIS, a control document listing all requirements, often including acceptance criteria. This we already discussed. Regulatory. Why regulatory here is important? There will be some clause in design development, even in 21 CFR 820, which talks very specifics on design controls. Okay, on the design development, they have one specific clause of how we are controlling the design. And second thing is, they stress or emphasize more on certain issues, okay, like the design validation. When they say design validation, they talk too much on clinical validation. Okay, there will be some countries like on something like Brazil and Visa, RDC document talks too much on risk. Okay, during development stage, every stage, of course, it's important. Every stage they ask that you need to include risk. Okay, and it becomes a traceability. And what are outputs of risk? If you have taken them inputs, what are the risk outputs that mean? Okay, risk traceability matrix. This is just based on the assumption, or we call it as proof of concept. If these are my inputs, what could be the assumptions or the risks that it may carry? Okay, still now we haven't developed the prototype. These are only inputs. Okay, how you are linking it? Okay. See, there are two things which you need to understand. One is in RNA, there is one called hypothesis. The other is proof of concept. What is hypothesis? What is hypothesis and what is proof
Something
of
that is
concept?
theoretically possible is a hypothesis. What we assume that this will happen, or the device will work in a certain way, theoretically.
Yeah, it's more theoretically we hypothesize. It's more an ideation that this should work like this. It's more a thought process, ideating it. Okay, proof of concept is okay. There is a concept and you have a proof for that. This is going to really work. So proof of concept will be more real to that of what hypothetically is doing. And in R&D, basically, if you look at the technology of how you grade it, okay, what we call it as TRL. What is TRL? Is you have, as we move forward in R&D, okay, they ask you casually they ask you what is your TRL? I mean, in the product development stage, what is your TRL? TRL means it's technology readiness levels. Okay, it will be divided into TRL1 to TRL7. TRL1 starts just with designs, okay, design inputs and all this stuff. You have TRL0 also. It's just ideation and it may start with type TRL1, you have just prototypes. Okay. Then you have TRL2, whether your prototypes are being tested. Okay. If they are tested, initial testing, like have you done any simulation tests or made the prototypes? Have you done any verification? Is it matching? Okay, TRL2, TRL3. Okay, then you have done any validations, okay, based on the outputs what you got. I mean, basic validations. It could be simple thermal validations, like it's not that you do a full-fledged GTO validation, just expose it to moisture or some uh, what you call in vitro models, okay, like how you in vitro models of a disease condition, okay, where you are implanting, you can have an in vitro model. Of late, you are having a lot of in vitro models to test your devices, not the clinical model, not in human. In vitro, you have these models. Okay, models are available. So have you tested? So it will keep on TLR3, TLR4, you have done complete validation, biocompatibility, all that stuff. It will be TLR5. And you have done everything ready with the design transfer, it is TLR6. And if you are ready to do the design transfer and commercialization, okay, commercialization, it's at TLR7, technology readiness 7 means you are in a commercialization stage. See, why I am telling this TRL as you youngsters, as you keep working on design and development, there will be lot of projects available for grants, okay, from the government or some institutes. Okay, I know, like maybe I don't know how many of you know. Recently, Indian government has allocated 1 lakh crore rupees, okay, for research and development, okay, and manufacturing. You know, India is not at all a hub. I mean, on research and manufacturing, just now we discussed, India is nowhere in research and manufacturing. Sorry, R&D or innovation and research. And we are manufacturing are very less you take any domain. Okay. The only thing what we do is we are very good in services. Service, we do 60% of our work is on service sector. Or manufacturing compared to China or any other thing. We are not even 10% to what China is doing on manufacturing. Okay, we are not even 10% to what innovation or research and innovation, what's happening in India. Whether you take the software, IT, medical devices, drugs, anything. Okay, they are creating, they are coming with new products and they are also having manufacturing. And we are just doing this service work, servicing work, service work, like what I am doing. Okay. So if India has to become strong, necessarily we need an Indian an innovated product. Okay. And that product should be manufactured in India. See, make in India some years back looked good. We try to manufacture in India, but what we are manufacturing? All the components spares that this we are getting it from China and assembling them. That is called not called manufacturing. Okay, we get the software or something other things from China or something from US and just we assemble them and we call we are manufacturing iPhones. We are basically not manufacturing any iPhones. Though who claim that India is we are just okay using screwdriver and fixing the iPhones. So for us to become an innovation research with our own technology, own product, own manufacturing, that is only the way India will survive, not on the service sectors. Okay, that is what China has done. That is what US has not done great on manufacturing, but okay. But they have done a lot of innovation on research, mainly on the IT. You see all IT platforms, you take from simple, what you call YouTube or anything, YouTube or Twitter or X or Instagram or Google, Gemini, whatever AI that is there in the world, were created by Americans. What we created, we have created just like perplexity. Okay, that's still not doing well. And Zoho has created one, what is it, alternate to WhatsApp. What is it Zoho created? RFP something. Okay, it's like WhatsApp only. But that technology we need to make, we need to have, and that's why Indian government allocated 1 lakh crore, not in medical devices, but in all domains, mainly in software, IT, other in quantum physics. Okay, that will be working with defense, military, and security. A lot of things happening, but money is there. Okay, why I have diverted this? So when you apply for a project, no, see DST are these are Indian organization, Indian body that will provide grants and funds for your startups for R&D. Okay, R&D, not only R&D, at any part when that's what I'm saying. When you are saying I'm in research and development, or when you are R&D, they'll first question they ask you at what TLR you are. What is your technology readiness level? So you need to understand what is it. Okay, I'll share you just in one page what it means by TLR. Sorry, TRL, technology ready level 0 to 1 to 7. So you need to tell whether I am in just a hypothetical ideation stage. That's not really encouraged. If you say I'm in TLR1, developed prototypes and started testing, okay, it gives some impression, and say that I have done some verification and validation with objective evidence. You'll have more chances of getting funds, okay, or grants. Funds and grants are free. There's no need for you to return. If you take loans, it could be soft loan, but very less interest. So that is why you need to remember this TLR. Again, what outputs here? Information from previous designs, that is called design history file, device log, like that's why I said we need to maintain the lab notebooks. Okay. And what is the input tree? After doing all this stuff, getting all the information from experts, your internal sources, your literature search, you sit together and do an input review. The inputs must be used for adequacy, clarity, completeness. They must be unambiguous, without ambiguity, and not conflict with agile. Design input meeting minutes should be okay. This is all documentation for. Well, we will have then you make the prototypes, okay, as per your designs and the required material. You make the prototypes. Okay, that these are the tangible results of the design process must be documented and verified against the inputs. The outputs serve as the master specification of the product. Okay, you will get out. These are tangible results. Tangible means it can change. It's not intangible. That can change as you make more prototypes. Okay. See, you need to check whether outputs are near or close to that of the inputs. Outputs must demonstrate in a way that allows verification against the inputs. Then output specification. Basically your drawing, schematic, software that. And you need to document your purchasing information, where from you purchase the product, what are the material specification, all this will come in the output. Because you need to understand whether I have purchased the right material. Because you have the input, okay, that time you know the input, this is the material. But once you have done with the prototypes or rapid prototype and 3D printing, you will get an idea whether I am getting the output right with this material. If it is getting right, fine. If it is not, then we need to relook at some, not total change in material, some change in the composition of the material. Okay, what is the acceptance criteria? This we have designed, we have looked at the design planning only. If these are my inputs, what should be my outputs? Okay, my straight question is it mandatory that inputs and outputs should be exactly matching and same? Okay, you have
Yes,
inputs written
No,
down. And you have outputs after creating what you do.
no, sir.
Yeah, many a time, I mean, I'm speaking very practically. In first go, you may not have inputs, sorry, outputs really matching inputs. There will be some deviations, but still it is fine. Because in inputs also, what you will do is, you don't give just one numerical number or the mean or something like that. In inputs also, you will give the mean and the tolerance, what we call deviation. Okay, plus or minus. Suppose 8 plus or minus 0.4. Then you look at your output and see whether it is close or it is, I mean, what we call stray data or outliers, not at all near to 8, but somewhere touching 9 and 7. I'm talking of some arbitrary parameter. But it could be an essential parameter for the intended use. Here I want to make it clear. There will be some parameters, okay, which are very, very essential for the intended use. Okay. that you should not touch the parameters. It is mandatory that you need to get your outputs close to the inputs where these parameters matter for your intended use. Okay, there will be some parameters which may not have so much potential impact, okay, on the device performance or safety, that you can play around it, scribble around it. But they could be, I mean, you can quote a lot of examples like, I mean, after this, I'll give a case study. You cannot really change these input parameters because your outputs are far away. You try your best, and if not, you better uh, scrap the project. Whatever inputs you have put with deviation, some important potential, okay, important parameters that speak of, okay, product performance should come close to your inputs. Otherwise, you need to redo it till you become close to the inputs. There will be few things which are essential, but really won't have any much impact or effect on the risk or performance of the device. That you can look it when you are doing the risk management file, because risk management file is always integrated with design and development. That time you have to look into the risk. Okay, this has not met the design inputs. Okay, the output has not met the inputs. So what is the risk it is carrying? Or should we also modify this? If I modify this, will there be effect on other parameters directly linked to device performance or intended use? Or just I can really, I mean, work on this stuff. It will be really interesting on this. Which one to touch, which one not to touch, which one to has to come close. So mostly in the first device, you may not get it, but subsequently as you keep understanding the product material, the prototypes and the designs, how as you keep changing the designs, at some point I'm pretty sure you will come very close to you may not match exactly. Okay, it's not like the same decimal to decimal. Okay, it will be somewhere similar, matching your inputs, but still it is fine. Okay, if importantly if it is within the tolerances or the standard deviation what you have quoted, if the design output is within the tolerances of the input what you have provided, it's good. But still you can refine it further. Okay, mainly looking at some of the parameters that have impact on the safety and performance. Okay, because I mean, like in your design planning or mainly in the design inputs only, you will categorize, okay, what are the parameters has, okay, high impact on device performance and safety, medium impact, low impact, okay, perhaps some have no impact also. So you need to work on those parameters, grade them and see that those high impact, medium impact or during verifications are very close. But your story on R&D doesn't end there where you have input output matching. Okay, verification is done. The real test comes during validation. Okay, you know what are validations? What are validations?
Oh, validation is basically when your intended use or intended function, whatever you intended, is getting achieved. For example, if I am doing autoclave validation, then my intended use is the product must get sterile. So I need to check that whether I am receiving the sterile product consecutively.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So you have, for validation, you have some intended purpose or intended use, as Margie said. Sterilization validation is doing autoclaving. There are different validation, but end of the day, you should have your device sterile. Okay. And you conduct this experiment, I think I told you, maybe once in a year you do sterilization validations. It's the autoclave or simple things you can do thrice a year or every quarterly 4 times a year. Okay, there could be a lot of validations like packing validation, sterilization validation, transport validation. Okay, of course, the most important which I'll discuss is on clinical validation. That is the key thing, clinical validation. The biocompatibility studies, all these studies or validations will come. So what I want to impress on you is, okay, this I had discussed with you, essential characteristics that okay. So here in validation, what happens is that, no, validation is not so simple as verification. So, I mean, the common tagline everybody uses is, whatever you can't verify, validate it. Okay? Because when you have an input and output, it's easy for you to do verification. But I don't have any inputs, okay, or outputs to compare and match. Then what should I do is, people ask you do the validation. Okay, validation, as Mazdi said, it's for particular intended use. Okay, your validation. Suppose I'm doing a packing validation. My packing validation uses tie-back pouches and other pouches so that it serves as a barrier, microbial barrier. It has some integrity so that microbes won't enter inside the device. So I do a tie-back pouching and a lot of outer cotton, inner cottons, inner packing, outer packing. Okay, and there will be some object like you also test the tie-back pouches after packing. You test them whether there is any microbial ingress, what we call microbial ingress test. A lot of other tests like leak proof, pressure validation. Similarly, you have transport validation, but transport validation is it's not that you keep in a truck or something and do what happened. It is an in-house simulated model. There are guidelines like this. There are few companies who do transport validation. So during transport, whether the products are getting affected, there is a protocol if you want, I'll say. Okay. And there will be a lot of things like clinical validation. So, I mean, my important point here, what I want to draw you is, when we are doing validation, basically we won't conduct validations, okay, every day or every week or every 10 days or every month. We do validations perfectly, okay, once in a year or twice in a year and say that, okay, this is validated, sterilization is validated, packing is validated. So, when you are talking validation, what exactly you are speaking about? Okay, you are meeting the intended use. Yeah. When you are meeting the intended use, I have few questions. Like you have done it, You have certain sample size, you have a procedure, protocol, lot of parameters. Take for example, sterilization. Done it. Okay. You have safety, sterility assurance levels, salt, enter for minus 6, lot of parameters, and you have tested your, where am I? Yeah, after sterilization, gave for sterility test and introduction, everything comes fine. But my point is like you have done the validation, okay? And next 6 months you won't be doing the validation of that particular sterilization. And my question is, what are the chances? What is the probability with the current sterilization reports? The next 6-month batches won't fail the sterility test. What is the probability and what is the confidence you are giving to me? Because after 6 months only you will be doing the validation and you have done the validation. So I'll be doing something like another 30 or 40, 50 lots of batches of validation. Of course, I'll do test them for sterility and all this. But since you have done validations, what is the probability or level of significance, okay, accuracy that these parameters what you have used, okay, will give you 100%, okay, sterile product wherever it is placed as per your procedure as done in SO. Can somebody tell me this? What is the probability this sterilization, after doing validation, sterilization won't fail for next 6 months? Do you have any logic or mathematical calculations or something like that to show that I can give 99.9% assurance or 100% assurance the sterilization won't fail next 6 months after validation?
No, sir. There is such guarantee.
You can't say that. We cannot say that.
No, sir.
Yeah. Akanksha, can you say like after doing validation it won't fail further? Because you are doing a lot of clinical validations for your devices. I mean, in vitro validations. And remember, like when you are doing in vitro validations, you ask me very important questions. What are those questions? If you tell me the questions, there is an answer in it.
Statistical analysis.
What? Yeah, very good. And before that, what you asked?
Sample size.
Yeah, you are absolutely hit the nail. So we need to understand how many samples we have used, and most importantly, what is the statistical analysis which you are going to undertake? Suppose I say like I have this many samples. See, sterilization procedures are different. For gamma, you do have a procedure. ETO, you run half cycle. Okay, what we call Vmax or VMD max. I mean, for radiation, there are different calculations. Half cycle, full cycle, with half the radiation dose. Okay, with half of the ETO. So we do all this
Dose
stuff.
mapping?
Pardon?
Dose mapping?
Yeah, yeah. In radiation, we call it dose mapping. Very, very important dose mapping. But in ETO, we don't do dose mapping, we do half cycle sterilization and check it out. But in half cycle also, they should pass. I mean, they should become sterile to give that insurance or cushioning effect. If you don't, if something goes wrong, even half cycle also can produce sterile devices. Okay. And guys, important thing what I'm asking is on the probability, what we'll do is we'll look at the numbers of devices what we have included with different dimensions or different volumes, different areas of placement in the sterilizer, how much time it has run. Okay, all that, and we gather total data on the placement, XYZ, on the sterility, bioburden. Okay, sterility will be yes or no, 0 or 1. Bioburden you can quantify. Okay, and endotoxins you can quantify. So what can be quantifiable, we'll have the data. What can't be quantifiable is sterility, it is either 0 or 1. Okay, and you have parameters where you keep lot of variables. Okay, you run a full cycle, as you said, we'll do a dose mapping with various cycles and we'll get our devices tested for biomarker. So what you need to do here is you need to apply statistics and see for your samples. Okay, I'm doing a statistical comparison between the one which has an radiation dose like of 20 RD, okay, and one with 25 and other with, okay, different mapping will have. Then what you'll do is you'll have the data of your products. Okay, bioburden, endotoxin. So what you will do is you will try to compare at particular dose what is the endotoxin, what is the bioburden, whether it's sterile or not. Then with the second group, you will do the same, or you can do like a simple student t-test, what we call paired or unpaired. Okay, like I mean, it takes time for you right now. Paired or unpaired t-test. Okay. Or you can do, if you have multiple 3-4 groups, you can do an ANOVA, analysis of variance. Okay. Actually, before you pick up the sample size, you need to do a statistical sample. It's not that you pick 3-4 and do assay validation. What is the statistical sample size to prove that, okay, your sterilization gives, okay, at least 99% probability that your results will be right with a confidence intervals of p-value 0.001. Okay, with the power of study at 80%. What is my sample size? It gives a sample size. After getting the sample size, you do the sterilization and you get the data. And you look at the statistics, do the statistics. There are a lot of statistical data applied, and the most common we use is graphite prism. Some use graphite instant, just graphite will be used. Then there are more what we call Minitab and MATLAB's data there applicable. So you will compare whether there is a significant difference between the parameters, okay, where you use first, second, third, fourth, okay, in the terms of your bioburden, endotoxin level, have they gradually decreased? Okay, you can have an XY graph, XY is scattered or linear regression. As you keep on increasing the radiation dose, okay, whether the device becomes sterile, yes or no, and what is the endotoxin? Is it like a linear regression passing through 0 and moving upward, or it is having an angle flat, okay, 30 degrees, which means it's not directly proportional. Okay, your radiation dose is not directly proportional to the endotoxin or bioburden. See, you need to look at this all calculation and calculate what is the p value, or you calculate this confidence interval. Okay, then you say that end of the day you say that at 99% confidence interval with so much of probability and significance, I say that okay, these devices, if we have done sterilization for next 6 months, still will pass, but your probability will be only 99.9%, or sometimes you move out to 99 only, but still there is probability of 1% it fails. Okay, that is what I mean, I'm not saying it should fail, but you need to apply a lot of statistics in your sample size, statistics in your reports or analysis of the data because you get the reports. Okay, then only it will become a truly validated sterilization process. Just if you keep the data like that and randomly you take some samples 10, 15, 20, no. That won't. You need to take statistical sample size and do statistical analysis. Based on what statistics has to be used. There are different statistics I'll share with you. I'll have a 2-3 page, like I think I told you for raw material what statistic or what sample size and what statistic is. Finished QC or online QC, validation. There are a lot of things, statistics here, clinical validation, clinical sample size. Okay. And I think I told you when you use statistics and you conclude the data with statistics, okay, with the scientific reasoning, nobody can question you. Okay. Anywhere in the world, this is the data which is valid. Okay, because statistics is the same. I calculated as per the statistical sample size, my conclusions based on statistics, and it is universally accepted. Okay, you need to do in such a perfect way. Okay, any validation, I'm talking of clinical or even packing validation, transport validation. Okay. So you need to do a validation planning. When I tell validation planning, this all will count. Okay, what is the sample size, acceptance criteria? Okay, and clinical evaluation, also called as validation. Intended use requires validation to include clinical evaluation, clinical trials performance, and we call it as CER. Okay, validation timing. Validation must be completed prior to the release of the product for use. Okay, validation will be done. Actually, the last comes is the clinical validation. So after clinical validation, if you are okay with the data, then only you will have this design transfers and other things. Okay, of course, validation reports are important. Okay, validation report, final validation report, approval date, clinical validation reports, validation plan and protocol. To me, this is very, very important. Why I say important is based on your sample size and the statistic, it will dictate a lot of things. Your plan and protocol. Okay, and transfer. This is the last one which we'll be discussing. What are the things which you will transfer? Okay, you have done clinical validation, results have come, there is a review meeting. As I said, after every step in design development, there will be a review meeting. Or it could be 2-3 review meetings. Okay, I have done the verification, review meeting happened. We have made the minutes recorded. Then we've gone for validation. We got the results, we discussed, there is a review meeting. Then we have gone for clinical and a lot of things happened. Then whole of the team has concluded, okay, the results are okay, good. Why don't we do design transfer and check in the production lots, not in the R&D lots or R&D formats? In R&D, we do it in small numbers, but when you increase the capacity, with big machines. Okay, how it works. So hence you need to do transfer of design. So when you are transferring documents from R&D to design, R&D to production. What will the document generally give? Suppose if you are a R&D guy, Masjid is an R&D person, Akanksha is in production. Masjid, what documents you will give to Akanksha so that she can do a pilot trial production? See?
After R&D, give production at
What documents you will give to the production and during design transfer in the presence of QA, because three guys has to sign in. What are the documents you will provide to production for production to run a pilot batch? Three pilot batches they are basically run.
Generally, the
A
design
master
transfer
file.
documents.
You
And
need to,
okay.
yeah, go ahead.
That some kind of BMR type document is there. I'm not really sure about that.
See guys, you need to give a lot of documentation. Okay. From your raw material, I mean R&D has to give this is the raw material, who is the supplier, this is the raw material specification, these are the tests we have done. But of course, the main important is the final technical specification of the product and the product process parameters. They need to give the SOPs. SOPs are basically given by R&D, it's not done by production. What are the parameters? How you measure, measuring functions or monitoring systems? Okay. Total data of the validation, what they have done, total data of verification, from inputs to verification, everything, technical specifications. Okay, what are the inline or in process QC? What is the finished product QC? Okay, I think the list will run in some 30 or 40 numbers. I have one list, I'll share it with you. Okay, this is what we call design transfer plan. You need to plan like what are the documents you are sharing, all the production files, training, these are very important. Training of the people, equipment, okay, how you train the personnel that are in production on how to do this. You have done it in design and development, but what about the people personnel in production? How you train them? How you share them SOP? Okay, you need to do some hand holding for a couple of months for them. Okay, manufacturing capabilities. Confirm the manufacturing processes, tooling, personnel, training, infrastructure, all this. What are the tools you have used? Personal training, process. Okay, process validation records you need to share. Product specification, component specification, full product specification. Okay, operator manuals, process instructions. Okay, approved design output specifications. What are the output specifications? So it is final design output package sign off. Okay, you need to sign off. Generally, QA head, production, and R&D will sign off in the presence of management, representative, top management, so that all the documents are transferred as master copies to production. This is basically what we call device history file. Sorry, design history file. Okay, DHF. Some called device history file. Everything has been transferred. And most importantly, okay, once the production starts, then the RA will come into the picture, like how many batches you are producing, how many for 3 trial batch, how many you need to produce for further testing, validation, like there will be a lot of tests done on QA, QC. Because you are going at a higher capacity, large scale, you need to, I know, like first 3 batches, what you got as outputs, okay, design outputs in R&D you may not get in the production. You need to change some parameters, okay, uh, give some leverage initially to get to the final specification. So it takes 2-3 months, and the regulatory people will tell you, okay, of course the QA, QC and regulatory will work in tandem and say that we need this many samples tested, because for regulatory they need to submit, okay, 3 trial batch record, the test they have done. Okay, this is basically the production data. Production and QC data, including the design drawings, specification, all that the QC, QA has to gather. Okay. Of course, a lot of data will come from validation, physical packing, clinical, transportation, all validation has to go to regulatory, including drawings, technical specifications, compatibility. Then they will compile the documents as required for the particular, particular country, IMDR or EMDR. So this to me is a very high and risky process when you are handling over the total documentation to production, R&D to production. What we call design transfer is very, very critical. Okay. And these are the documents like design transfer. You have a checklist. I'll give you a checklist of the process validation, all records of the final specifications have been provided, and all SOPs, everything from A to Z has to be done. The other is control of design and development changes. Suppose if you have any changes, okay, implement a formal system to identify, document, review, verify, validate, approval changes to the design after initial input approval. Suppose if you want, it comes to production, suppose if you want to make any changes, okay, it could be process changes, parameter changes, or small deviations in the input and output, but within the specifications, okay, these are all to be approved, okay, identify, document, review, verify, validate if there are any changes that has happened from the documentation that are given by R&D to production. Okay. Okay, one is identification and documentation. All proposed changes must be fully documented. Okay, engineering change requests, change control form, review and approval. Changes must be reviewed, approved by authorized personnel. Impact assessment, this is very important. What is the impact that will have, okay, the device will have? The review must assess the impact of the change on the device function and performance and safety. Okay, if you are slightly changing the device, changing the technical specification or process parameter. What is the impact assessment, or what is the impact that change is going to have on function and performance parameter? All this, okay, you need to write in change impact analysis report. Then if required, you need to do the revalidation, validation, not revalidation, validation and verification. Okay, change specific test reports, implementation notice. Ensure the change is formally announced to all relevant personnel before implementation. So everybody should know, including the QC, QA, RA, all the shop floor personnel, that these changes are there. Don't go with the old documentation. These are the new documentation for specification. It's the process or the components or the online process, online QC, finished QC. This is your specification fields, and these are the other will be, they won't become obsolete, but the other will be filed in the DHL. Okay, this is what I am going to design and development file, design history file, design history content, design history contents all what we discussed, planning, input, output, what is the verification, validation, reviews, design changes, control, design transfer. Okay. And they have to be stored. These are all the one. Completed design review minutes, final verification, validation, approved change orders, final design auto specification, demonstration of compliance. The DH must demonstrate the design and development were carried in accordance with the requirements of the standard. Data integrity, ensure the DHF is controlled. Okay, I mean this is very common, like document control system. This is basically like in US style, control legible, readily editable. They're all questionnaires. I'll share this with you. You can answer it whenever you are free. And read it. See, one thing I want to make sure is, actually I was telling this to somebody this morning. See, you ask the question or probe into the question more. Like, what is the question? Okay. What is the logic of the question? How it has to be linked? See, of late, what is happening with people are they are more eager about the answer than, trying to understand the question and intriguing into the question or investigating in the question. They are always in need of an answer than trying to understand the question. So what I request you is to read all this to understand what is the question, how it is logically linked to any other process or product. Okay, then think of the answer. Of course, we'll have some answer at some point. But what is happening because of few of the AML things is you are having cognitive offloading. You know what is cognitive offloading?
Decision thinking power capability.
Yeah, your thinking power, reasoning power, logic, you are not finding any logic or thinking power, rational, your wisdom is gone. I read morning somewhere, in pursuit of knowledge, we are losing our wisdom. Okay, you know, wisdom, there is a difference between wisdom and knowledge. So in trying to acquire knowledge, we are losing our wisdom. Wisdom is very, very important. So you have to be, don't always rely on Google or this for answer. Okay, you look at the question, try to reason, keep your brain active. See, when you keep your brain active is when you start reasoning. Okay, see, one of the models for root cause analysis is, okay, there is one fishbone diagram for doing root cause analysis. If there is a complaint, you do the root cause analysis. The other is, one is 5Y. You know 5Y? There are three,
Yes,
four
sir.
models. 5Y is you should keep asking questions why 5 times, then you will get the answer. Okay, that is 5Y is something that came from Japan, including Six Sigma from Toyota. When you ask five times why, okay, once you ask why, you will get some answer. And to that answer, you ask why, then it will give some answer. Okay. At the end, you will get the reason why it has failed. Okay. Of course, there is fishbone diagram, which is very easy to understand. Whether it's man, material, what happened, a lot of things we look into where it has gone. It's basically checking all the records. But my point is, like, don't be prepared for ready-made answers. Make your brain think. Your brain has a lot of neurons. You need to do a lot of reasoning, logic, analysis. Okay. Human intelligence is much greater than artificial intelligence. The only advantage with artificial intelligence is it takes a lot of data, fast processing speed, it limits your time. Okay. But see, what is GPT? What is the full form of GPT? Me GPT. What is the full form of GPT? What is the full form of GPT? When you use day in day out GPT, you don't know full form of GPT. Type in Google and say. See, these are very simple machines, like they are generative pre-trained. They are pre-trained, already trained. Okay, with tons and tons of data from data center, they train these machines to which question they need to answer what. They are already trained, they have a data centers. From the data centers, they will answer it very quickly. They are generative pre-trained transducers or transformers. Okay. If you don't train them, if you don't give data to them, they are zero. Okay. So there will be tons and tons of data given to them. With the data they are trained, there are a lot of links that have been provided to them. Okay. Their capacity is up to that stage. Okay, what is provided to them? But human intelligence is unlimited. You can think of so many. I mean, you are the decision maker. So what I'm trying to make your brain like stagnate, clogged with brain fog, all this stuff. Think, okay, keep reasoning, ask questions. Okay, don't just look at answers. Keep asking questions and be trained. Okay? Are you getting my point, Akanksha?
Yes, sir.
So keep your gray matter. Gray matter means the important part, right? That makes, I mean, that gives a lot of reasoning logic. I mean, I studied a lot on structure of brain. And there are some stress
I
areas
have
like,
one question.
yeah.
So, talking about design output part, so it seems like it's same as what we say in FPS, finished product specification. So we can say that design output is basically finished product specification.
Absolutely. Okay. Either you, yeah, what you said is right. Output specification, the design output will be the product specification. Yeah,
Okay, sir.
exactly. You're right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. But there will be a lot of things like, yeah, it will be the same. Yeah, I don't have any other things to comment, but it will be mostly the same. I mean, in the design output specifications will be the final device technical specification.
Okay, understood, sir.
Okay. Again, we are meeting next Friday, no?
Yes, sir.
So next Friday we'll go to class 8 and complete it. And what I'll do is I'll stop for some time sharing the recording lectures because people are taking it so casually that because they have an option of listening to recorded lectures. See, I know like listening to recorded lectures is easy when you're very much occupied with your work or you have delay coming back home. That's why I ask, can I postpone it from 7 to 9? But I mean, why I'm saying is when you are actually in the class, you have the option of, I mean, I don't like one way of talking. See, I've been taking classes to a lot of students, I mean, from IBSC, I take classes for biomedical engineering consortium. I mean, Indian biomedical, basically I take classes for biomedical engineering consortium, Indian biomedical engineering consortium. See, whenever I tackle, I be very specific. It has to be interactive. It's not like in school I'm telling and you are listening. You are professionals. Okay, you should ask questions. You can interrupt me anywhere. It also gives me a lot of things to reason. I mean, think of whether it's right or wrong. Okay, whatever it could be. And you should, when you ask question, it obviously makes you makes the conversation interesting. And it's not like one way that I'll be teaching and you think whatever I teach is right. You prove to me what I'm teaching is wrong, or at some point you ask me questions. Okay, you can debate with me, give me a lot of reasoning. So when it goes one way, no, it looks very naive, like as if I'm teaching to school students. Okay. So I want all of them to attend, make it more interactive and interesting. Maybe some of them are, because some of them are from regulatory, they may not be interested in ISO. But I told in the beginning only, ISO 13485 is as important as for QA, also for regulatory, also for all departments, whether it's maintenance or R&D or marketing, anybody, even to the CEO, ISO 13485 is important to have understanding. Okay, if they're listening to the recorded lectures, that's fine. Anyway, there is only one class left. I will teach that next week. Once we close that class, we go for internal audit training because you already understood 13485. The audit becomes very easy. Okay, within I think 1-2 sessions we can complete the audit. I'll tell you how to do the audit checklist, XYZ. Okay. Then immediately I'll conduct an exam for you with 1 week some time frame. Okay. So once you clear the exam, I'll share your completion certificates as a competent internal auditor from Salvation Global with my CRI number and ISO 13485 numbers. Okay, let's do this fast. I mean, before December. This is now, yeah, we already stepped into December. Yeah, time is just running here. It's like we don't have time. I mean, we are already in 2026. Okay, guys, any doubts? Any
No,
doubts?
sir.
Let me know. Just text to me or call me, send a mail to me. Okay, but we'll see next week. We'll complete closet. I know, very important. And further, okay, we'll complete internal audit, exam, followed by your certificate, so that you'll have one credential that can be used in your CV. You have become officially an internal auditor. But important thing is you should keep auditing try to improve the skills of auditing. And not now, maybe after a year or two. I also suggest to go for lead auditor training. Okay. Lead auditor training, not now. I will give you lead auditor training, but you need to be very acquainted with 13485 and internal audit. Do some audits. Okay, Akanksha is already doing. I don't know about Vaibhav and Masih. Do some internal audits and get out, right?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yeah, take care. Bye.
Bye.
See you soon. But in between,
Hello,
I
sir.
may come. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, in
Sir,
between,
are you providing any
yeah. Any
uh,
party
sir, you
party
completed
on what?
you
You
completed
want
first, then I tell.
you want any party on December 31st?
No, sir, no.
No, where you live?
I'm in Gurgaon, sir.
Gurgaon is far away from Ahmedabad.
Mm-hmm.
I think
I
Akanksha
am
lives.
from Ahmedabad. I can join.
You are in Ahmedabad. Masjid,
Yes, sir.
you are
I
in
am
Ahmedabad.
basically from. Yeah, my hometown is in Ahmedabad.
But where are you now presently?
Right now, I am in Surat.
Oh, I got a lot of work in Surat. Yeah, one of my client is in Surat.
So,
Yeah, I was in Surat for. I was in Vadodara for Reflection working in Surat. And Surat, I was with Nanotherapeutics. Okay, now
I have
I'm
worked with him for some time.
yeah, now I'm working with one startup company. But I know Surat, Vadodara. Vadodara, I was with Reflection. And Ahmedabad, I like Ahmedabad very much. Then I like Hyderabad, then Bangalore. Problem with Bangalore is too much traffic. So
Mm,
I spend in a month almost in these three cities. If I come to Ahmedabad, I'll let you know. Because I want to plan to have this new year in Hyderabad. Okay.
okay,
Anyway,
sir.
I'll send you some gifts for New Year.
Definitely. Vaibhav was saying something. I interrupted in between.
What I'm saying.
Vaibhav
No.
was saying something. I interrupted in between actually.
Yeah, Vaibhav, what is it?
Sir, just I want to ask regarding the internship. Are you providing anything regarding the regulatory internship? So I get more experience in the regulatory.
Yeah, if
Here
you
I'm
want, see. I mean, the point is like first let us complete like after internal audit training, I am thinking of going with the UMDR. Then no, not UMDR. In risk management, then EUMDR. Okay, once you understand this, no, so you will be very well good with ISO 13485. Okay, you will be happy that you got an internal audit certification. Second thing is you need to understand risk management. I said like risk management is all over the world. Okay, in the medical device ecosystem, you find risk management everywhere. So if I make you understand and learn risk management, I'll feel lot better. Then we'll switch to EUMDR. Then later we can start doing some internships or start working on some capstone projects. Okay.
okay, sir.
I will link you or I'll link you with some company or I'll provide you what to do. Okay. And
Okay, sir.
incidentally, I told no, I have a lot of clients in West only in Gujarat, Ahmedabad, sorry, in Gujarat and Maharashtra. I have very less clients in South. There are few clients in Bangalore, one, two clients in Chennai. Actually,
Sir,
I
actually,
don't
I'm
have.
from Maharashtra.
So great. I don't have any clients. Yeah, I had one client in Hyderabad, but we had some issues on MOU. Actually, that guy want registration in UAE. And we have completed the documentation. There were some issues with the authorized representative there. She was not compromising on the budget. She wants more. Okay, things happen. It's okay, fine. But I love teaching. I mean, I like teaching, clarifying doubts. Anybody has anything, let me know. Your company doubts or your doubts. Fine. You want to begin a startup, or any of your colleagues want to begin a startup, let me know. Of late, I said, no, I got saturated with a lot of things on AI, ML. I want to see. I was whole of year I was sitting on AML with medical devices, and I got so saturated that I'm having brain fog. Uh, Switching tasks from one task to another. Okay, every hour I do different tasks. So let me see how it goes in your area. Okay, guys, take care. Okay, take rest.
Yes, sir. Good night. Bye.
Good night. Stay safe.
Good night.
Good night. Bye.